Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL buzz lately, you know that the Washington Commanders are right in the middle of some electrifying rumors that could totally reshape their defense, and ultimately, their chances of making a serious playoff push. And I'm talking about a potential blockbuster trade involving none other than Nick Bosa, the star pass rusher from the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, you heard me right. The Bosa name is floating around the rumor mill, and it's causing quite a stir among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. It's a move that could change everything for Washington's defense, boosting their pass rush to levels we haven't seen in years. But let's break down what's really going on here, what it means for the Commanders, and whether this deal could become a reality. First off, the context. The 49ers, sitting at 5-9 and coming off a rough post-Purdy slump, are reportedly eyeing a rebuild of sorts. Their quarterback, Brock Purdy, had a solid season but with some inconsistency, throwing 15 touchdowns against 14 interceptions. The team's defense, especially their pass rush, has been a bright spot, with Bosa leading the charge as one of the league's premier edge rushers. But with the 49ers struggling to stay in playoff contention, rumors suggest they might be willing to part ways with Bosa, a move that could free up a significant amount of cap space and provide them with valuable draft picks for the future. So, what's the deal? Reports indicate that the 49ers might be looking for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft, plus a third-rounder in exchange for Bosa. That's a pretty strong offer considering Bosa's production. The Niners could save around $30 million in cap space, which they could reinvest into their offensive line or other areas of need. For the Commanders, who currently have about $55 million in cap space, this kind of move could be a game changer, especially since they have the financial flexibility to absorb Bosa's hefty contract through cuts and restructuring. And let's be honest, adding a player of Bosa's caliber to the front seven would be a massive boost for Washington. Now, let's talk about Bosa himself. This guy is a game wrecker. Since entering the league in 2019, he has amassed an impressive 65 sacks and over 90 tackles for loss. His ability to get to the quarterback is elite, with 11 sacks in 2025 alone, along with 16 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and a PFF grade of 91.8, putting him among the top 2 edge rushers in the league. He's a relentless force who can change the complexion of any game. His win rate at the line is around 27%, and his EPA per pressure stands at plus 0.44, showing how impactful he is on every snap. Bosa's career stats are eye-popping, 65 sacks in just a few seasons, and he's been recognized as a Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. His style of play is reminiscent of the best in the league, combining speed, power, and technique. Now, why would the 49ers consider trading Bosa? Well, cap space is a huge factor. They're looking at over $12 million in projected cap costs for 2026, and with their ongoing need to draft a quarterback in the upcoming draft, they need to free up some room. Purdy has been solid, completing about 60% of his passes, but the team's overall defensive ranking in the NFC is only 22nd, giving up around 25 points per game. Without Bosa, their pass rush drops from a top-tier level to a mid-tier at best, which could hurt their chances in the postseason or even in the division next year. So, parting ways with Bosa might be the strategic move they need to get more draft capital and cap flexibility. But what about what this means for Washington? Well, bringing Bosa into the fold would instantly elevate their front seven, giving them a legitimate threat on the edge alongside players like Chase Young, if he's still around, and other pass rushers like Luvu. It could be the missing piece that transforms the Commanders' defense from an average unit into a top 10, maybe even top 5 defense. Think about it. With Bosa rushing the passer, teams will have to double-team him, freeing up others to make plays. His presence alone can alter the entire offensive game plan, making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. And it's not just about the sacks. Bosa's ability to disrupt passing lanes, force turnovers, and set the tone for the entire defense is what makes him a true difference maker. If he joins Washington, the impact could be felt immediately, especially considering the current struggles of the defense. The Commanders have been fighting to find consistency on that side of the ball all season, and adding a player like Bosa could be just what they need to turn things around. His presence could also help the secondary, giving them more confidence to attack and create turnovers, knowing they have a dominant pass rusher helping to pressure the quarterback. Now, let's talk about the potential impact on the team's overall performance. With Bosa on board, projections suggest the Commanders could see an increase of around 50 pressures over the course of the season. That would likely translate into more sacks, possibly boosting their total from around 32 to close to 45, which would put them among the league leaders. Think about how that would open up opportunities for turnovers, especially with Daniels sidelined for parts of the season. Bosa's pressure can force mistakes, and with more forced turnovers, the Commanders could flip games more consistently, giving their offense more chances to score and control the clock. And if we look further ahead, the playoff picture, this move could be the one that elevates Washington's chances of reaching Super Bowl LXI. The odds of winning the title now sit at around plus 15-0, but with Bosa, those odds could shrink to plus 6-0, especially considering his history of postseason success. Bosa has already recorded 5 playoff sacks in his career, and having a player of his caliber in critical moments can be the difference between a deep postseason run and an early exit. He's known for dominating against mobile quarterbacks and applying relentless pressure on the edges, which is exactly what Washington needs to contend with some of the more mobile QBs in the league. In terms of matchups, Bosa would be a nightmare for offensive tackles, especially when facing top-tier pass blockers like Williams, who allowed 4-5 sacks. His ability to win one-on-one battles consistently would make him a focal point in the defensive game plan, forcing offenses to adjust and opening up opportunities for other pass rushers to shine. The combination of Bosa with existing talent could create a formidable wall that opposing offenses would struggle to crack, reminiscent of the dominant defenses of the 1991 Redskins, who became a legendary unit in their own right. Of course, acquiring Bosa wouldn't come without its challenges. The 49ers are a tough team to deal with, and negotiating a deal would require strategic planning. The question is whether Washington is willing to part with the draft picks and cap space necessary to secure such a game-changing player. But considering the long-term benefits, it could be a move that cements their status as serious contenders for years to come. It's about building a defense that intimidates opponents, stifles the run, and gets after the quarterback with relentless fury. If the Commanders manage to pull this off, it could be a turning point for the franchise, reminiscent of the defensive renaissances of the past, like the 2019 Patriots or the legendary '91 Redskins. And beyond the field, this move would energize the fan base. Imagine the excitement of having one of the league's premier pass rushers donning the burgundy and gold. It would send a message to the rest of the league that Washington is serious about competing at the highest level. Fans would rally behind this move, and it could be the spark that ignites a new era of success for the Commanders. The anticipation is building, and if this deal comes to fruition, it's going to be a game changer that fans will be talking about for years. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking ahead, this potential trade is not just about the present. It's about setting the foundation for sustained success. If Bosa joins Washington, the team's defensive identity shifts toward being a feared, dominant unit capable of shutting down even the most potent offenses. It's a move that echoes the greatness of the past, like the legendary defenses of the early '90s, and it could usher in a new chapter of glory for the franchise. Fans are dreaming of a defense that could carry the team to deep playoff runs, maybe even a Super Bowl victory. It's a bold vision, but one that's entirely within reach if the front office pulls the trigger. And of course, we all know that football is a game of inches, of moments, and of strategic moves. Acquiring a player like Bosa could be that defining moment that propels Washington into serious contention. The team has been building steadily, adding pieces, developing young talent, but nothing compares to the impact of a player of Bosa's caliber. His arrival could inspire the entire team to elevate their game, to push through adversity, and to believe in their chances of bringing a championship back to the nation's capital. It's about creating a formidable, relentless, and unbeatable defense that opponents fear every single game. So, as we watch this story unfold, keep the excitement alive. The NFL offseason is full of surprises, and this one could be among the biggest. Whether it happens or not, it's clear that the Commanders are positioning themselves for a potential leap forward. They're not just looking to compete, they're aiming to dominate. And if they pull off this move, adding Nick Bosa, they could turn their fortunes around faster than anyone expected. It's a fascinating time to be a Washington fan, and the future looks brighter than ever. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.